Alright, we have returned for more Challenge Series action, and if you're wondering about the hiatus, I spent too much time talking to people. It's that simple. Oh, great start. Already summoning demons with my bodily functions. So we have reached episode 71, the qualification week, basically, for the 680 Cup, because we still never thought of a name for that, but we decided that that's probably what we should go with since, well, it's like the most populated category in the Challenge Series, almost like 70 cars to its name right now. So, at this point, the 680 category might as well just be the Challenge Series. It's got the best car variety, as we can see pretty well demonstrated with our little opening shot here. We kind of got this tuner muscle exotic thing going on. Wasn't really intentional, I don't think. I don't really know if any of these three are even aware of Need for Speed Carbon. Acura, maybe. Don't think the other two really are, and if they certainly wouldn't care to learn either. Yeah. Without further delays, so I have another 2.5 minute intro. Let's head into the first race. And we are green for the first qualifying round of the week. Episode, week, whatever terminology you want. In the universe, it's a week. For us, it's an episode, blah, 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 blah. And the opening round is at Laguna Seca. Much to my surprise, though, Thrasher is not here. Figured he would probably jump on the chance to practically guarantee his qualification at his home track, and his favorite track for good measure, but no, he's not here. A couple of his drivers are, prime example, what the heck? Francesca, that's not the racetrack. Luckily for her, Nakazato had good reactions and slowed up the rest of the field, but Barbara took full advantage and claimed how many places? 6 places. What's Barbara see from this? She already gets around Krieger. As she heads out of the King, she sees that. She actually smacks into the back of somebody. But I don't think it did any damage to anybody. Oh, it might have. Hang on. What? I saw damage. It was Hana. Oh no, she didn't cause that though. She taps, looks like Charlotte Riel in the back. And they don't take any damage from that. So, yeah. No harm done. Barbara snags 6 positions and heads through the corkscrew. Your next target is her fellow 3rd Gen Corvette driver, Oscar Oxbridge. Hunter's damaged, as does Oscar. But yeah, we do have Natsuki and Axel here representing Black Stallion, but Thrasher is not here. Perhaps it's an availability thing. He does have like a job and stuff, so... Not that that's necessarily stopped him from making Monday races before, but this is pretty early in Monday afternoon, like 12:30, so... Maybe he's up in Medford doing volunteer stuff, who knows. Anyway... At the moment, his two drivers are in the top 4, which you need to finish in the top 4 to qualify. However, I think that's under some significant threat as Barbara just blows Natsuki's doors off. And Axel's still trying to find a way ahead of McIntosh to get into the lead. And it's the same rules as before. Top 4 from each race make it to the championship, and if you win the race, or, you know, like, your position determines your starting position. So, finishing 4th in this race would qualify you 16th in the main event, for the first round anyway. Finishing 3rd, oh boy, Francesca, not again. This whole racing with honor thing is really starting to slip away from the Pedonzi crew, isn't it? I got wrecked by Eric a few weeks ago, and now Francesca does that to my other driver. Are we gonna have a fucking problem here, Francisco? My team's not any more monetarily stable than yours. We should be working together here, not running into each other. Personal griping aside. Tyler is having to fend off 2 American muscle cars. I consider the Pantera an American car. It's not, it's Italian, but... You listen to this engine, you tell me this doesn't sound like an American muscle car. It's got a literal Ford engine in it. As Tyler tries to give Axel Valentine the bump and run, it does not work. So Axel takes advantage of Barbara moving through the field, and he'll get himself to P2. Natsuki is nowhere near this battle for 4th. I think we've pretty much got our top 4 set in stone unless something stupid happens. Which, I don't want to say something stupid will happen, but it's, you know, it's never a possibility you can completely discount. Especially since Tyler got... Huh? When did this happen? Oh, Axel nearly spun out. That's what happened. Alright, makes sense. As we begin the final lap, Barbara has a relatively comfortable lead. About 2 seconds or so. Might get even a bigger margin as well, since Axel's still in with a chance to try and overtake Tyler, and if he does try so, or if he does try to do so, he will slow them both down more. Oh, excuse me. I feel like I got over my cold the other day, the cold that I mentioned in episode 70. I got over that on, like, Sunday morning. But I feel like I've been coughing more since I got over it. It doesn't make any damn sense. Axel apparently thinks he's got a chance into the kink. I think he's crazy. But he might have a chance into the corkscrew if he can get his car under control. He cannot. Macintosh plays a bit of defense. Well, he defends himself through the sand, but apparently the Supra's a rally car, so I don't need to worry about that. I think Axel is, he is out of time. A little bit of oversteer for Barbara Page as she heads into the last turn. Yeah, no challenge from Valentine. He will just settle for P3 and qualifying into the championship. And Barbara will be the pole sitter for that first race, so she wins at Laguna Seca. Followed by Tyler McIntosh and Axel Valentine, and Kevin Bergstrom, who's been relatively quiet this season, sneaks his way into 4th place, qualifying for the championship. Apparently, from what I understand, the reason he's been relatively quiet is because he's actually been racing in DTM part-time. Of course, under AMT, because, you know, that's basically the company that's keeping his family from starving to death. So he's pretty much going wherever they tell him to go. They don't tell him to go too many places, because they're just fine with a car with their name on it being on a racetrack somewhere across the world. It's a very much a mutualistic agreement between those two, and honestly it's kind of nice to see such a loyal synergy between two parties, especially two mostly unrelated parties. Was that a Pontiac down there? I think I saw a Pontiac parked there. Game? Where's my 2004 GTO, damn it? And race 2 is green, this time from the next continent over, in Interlagos. I was trying to think of some joke to make, but honestly there's just nothing there. Woo, Brazil! 7-1 or something, I don't know. Right on board with Tsubaki. That name had to have been a freaking nightmare in, like, middle school. If her elementary teacher did like the like any sort of name game or something with that name, oh my god, that had to be fucking torture. Anyway, I don't really know if they do that in Japan the same way they do in American schools, like they did for certainly the kindergarten school I went to. But anyway, current events. We are at Interlagos. Saki's M4 is the POV car. I got completely thrown off by what I was ranting about. That utter nonsense. At the moment, I am the leader. This isn't usually a track that bodes well for muscle cars. Turns like 3 and all the hairpins usually are a nightmare for cars that have instability at low speeds. And Jake Downey must know that. He and I have already had a few run-ins, so I'm kind of having to pick and choose between, do I race him like an ass, or do I give him all the space he could possibly need so he doesn't wreck me again? As he kind of just, like, makes himself clear, really. But honestly, I don't care. There's a battle between my parents there for a second. My mom wants to get ahead of my dad and into the top 4. That's a lot of fire. Does my mom's car always do that? I don't remember that. Saki's gonna get ahead of her though, flamethrower or otherwise. Aya, I think, just played a bit of defense for her sister. Might have been not the cleanest defense, but defense nonetheless, and that allows Saki to sneak in ahead of my dad. And is she just gonna let her sister go here? Nope. Aya is fighting this one out, so we're gonna have a bit of a sibling rivalry, but I imagine it's gonna be a lot closer than the ones we're probably used to seeing here in the challenge series. Kinda got a bit of family matters in this race, because we not only have this pair of sisters, we have myself and my parents. All 3 of the Taniguchi family members are also in this race too, so it's apparently a family night here at Interlagos. Because Aya's trying to keep my dad at bay. Subaru's got DRS on it, so... Oh, he just smacked into Aya instead. But Aya's got a tough Camaro that doesn't take damage from the near Subaru. Whereas my dad just dented his splitter and he might have to fix that. So, that's an L. It's the other one, Saki versus Jake Downey to try and take the lead. Oh wait, remember the lead here, and the win will start you P2 in the first round of the championship. They remain too wide, heading up towards the turn 6. I know numbers. Oh, and Jake Downey does Jake Downey things and smacks Saki right off the racetrack to defend his position. She's flashing her lights at him. Jake, I'd brace yourself a little bit. I don't think you're gonna like what happens next. Saki has a bit of an attitude. Yep, bump and run, executed basically to perfection. Can we get a better camera angle on that actually shows us what happens? Now let's see what Jake's camera got. Oh yeah, just not that much of a hit. It was enough to send him off the racetrack though. and damages her bumper. He might fix that, or he might stay out and try and get revenge. It seems his car is pretty fast to got here. Either way, I'm currently laughing my ass off at this point because, yes, fuck you, Jake, you've screwed me over enough lately. And he has to pit. He doesn't like his handling after that. So that is remove Jake from the picture. And that's basically given Aya a safety cushion over my mom after my dad damaged his own stupid ass's splitter. And he had to fix that too. Hey sir, I can't record shit in this house. Even when I'm the only person in it, I still get interrupted. Because mom comes back from wherever she was in the middle of the recording. That's just my luck. She could have just waited like a minute and a half and this would have been, like, not even a problem because the race would have been over. But no, I couldn't get lucky. That's pretty much business as usual up to the line here. It is a little bit of a close bit for basically the qualifying spots, but I think that Audi has the top speed to stay ahead of the TVR. That's the word. So Saki, after performing a bump and run that Dale Sr. would be proud of, is going to head up to the start-finish and win at Interlagos. But once I don't get screwed over and I take P2, Saki's sister grabs P3, and my mom gets P4. It really is a family day here at Interlagos. Meanwhile, relegated to 15th for his stupid ass. I could not care at all. I get he comes from the Burnout World Tour. I knew exactly what we were getting when that guy joined, but he doesn't even seem like he's been trying to dial it back, either. Like, obviously he's taking all of his Burnout driving skills into this and none of his actual driving skills. Yeah. We have arrived at race 3. And so has the rain. It is a wet Nürburgring GP circuit at about a 45 to 50% moisture at covering most of the circuit at the moment. But the rain itself isn't really coming down that heavy. Actually, it's not coming down at all at the moment, at least not on this part of the circuit. And we are riding along with Stephanie Kaiser in her 996. Clearly, oh, there's the rain, suddenly. Clearly she wasn't too, shaken up by the fact that she nearly met Jesus last week at Autopolis with, Ambrosia Reyes having the absolute tumble. I think Futaba simultaneously has the best and worst vehicle for these conditions. It's kind of funny to think. Stephanie's making some pretty rapid progress though, already up to P11, and possibly looking for more in a second. Yeah, she's gonna pretty easily get ahead of Kishibe into this little S section. Taro doesn't give her any breathing room. Stephanie apparently doesn't need it. They were too wide through that little kink there as Colin Morris gets ahead of Setsuko. Outside of the chicane, that's not a usual passing zone, to say the least. On the inside of Morris, and then there's the other TXR driver with Hayashi Bara there. Despite the car's upbringing, its growing weakness is its power, and I think Stephanie knows that. She's just trying to wait out these slow corners. And there we go. As soon as the power is applied, the Porsche's gone. Beep. Catching up to Francesca. These two have got a bit of history, so this might be a difficult overtake for Stephanie to make. As Fernando's probably going to put up a fight. She tries to fight on the outside, but honestly, there's not much fighting you can do there. Stuck on the outside of that carousel is almost hopeless. At the moment, Mitsuri, with her, expertise and brain and a four-wheel drive car, is leading the way, not quite by as much as I thought she'd be. Oh. Bit of contact there. Kind of uses a little bit of force, but gets ahead of Eric. Honestly, we've seen the history between these two play out as of late. Eric fights back on the inside, but Porsche had the better exit at the end, you know, when everything was said and done. So Stephanie into third, Eric though still in the top four, so he's still qualifying provisionally. Blows Takahata's doors right off. And an aggressive braking zone later is right up to the back bumper of Kawashiro. The rain stopped, and yet despite this, the track's not getting any drier either. Slowly has to pick apart Mitsuri's driving through the slow section, but I think that Kaiser has just taken the lead with, Mitsuri's fighting back. But that's the inside lane for the Porsche, and I think that was a foregone conclusion. That was just Mitsuri's, last, or final effort to try and remain in the lead. Oh, I think she got a tire in the grass or something, though. I don't know if it was a puddle or a tire in the grass, but Stephanie has spun, locking up the brakes on the way into the carousel. And so now she's got to do all that again. Demoted to 5th place, having to pass Francesca to get into the qualifying spots. Which, okay, she did that relatively easily to be fair, but still. She does still have a lap to do it, and I think that's probably enough time, considering the time she made on the previous lap to get around these three. Uh-oh. Oh, Christ. Well, that's a bunch of damage to that GTO. Eric's got to pick, because that's probably fucked up his rear aerodynamics, and in a mid-engine car, those are pretty important. So, yeah, these two are going to be pissed again, I'm sure, for the third fucking time. Stephanie gets ahead of Takahata. Or did you think it was the final lap or something, that you had to get desperate to get into third? Or just missed a braking point. She almost ran into the back of Kawashiro just there as well. Would have been the icing on the cake. Hey, if you could have been here before. Only this time Kaiser's on the inside, not the outside, and will now be on the outside, so But guess what? Now it's the inside, and she passed her on the outside anyway, so she didn't even need the inside lane. What even is the inside lane at this point? Because Nitro almost just passed her back on the outside. She probably would have done if the Porsche didn't have way more acceleration just in general than the GTO. Can't help but notice that she hit the brakes a lane to the right this time. Gee, it's almost like she probably learned that there was a puddle over there. So, I guess that confirms that theory. It was not grass, it was just water. It caused her to lock up and spin off of the circuit. She will not be fooled twice. However, she will be a fool for the third time, so at least that's probably what Eric is thinking right now from back in P19. Oh, look at that. This time she gets the braking point right for the final chicane. Interesting this time since there's nobody in front of her. No blue Ferraris to clatter into for the third time. And Stephanie Kaiser will head out of the final corner and take the victory at her home country at the Nürburgring GP circuit to easily make it into the championship. Michiru Kawashiro, Kazuyo Takahata, and Francesca Fedonzi will follow her in. And Dedrick Schwartz gets 5th again. He got 5th last time too. Yikes, that's gotta bite. So close. I feel that one for him. If only Stephanie had run into somebody else, he would have made it. I'm surprised she didn't run into Francesca, honestly. But anyway, on to the next one. And race 4 is green. Here at Autopolis with Tony Lombardi as the POV driver, and there's Richard Schwartz for a third try. And this time he's starting 19th. So if he gets to P5 again, I'd just give up. I wouldn't even show up to Tokyo. I don't think I'd show up to Tokyo either way, because that's, spoiler alert, the other race. The final qualifier is Tokyo. It's probably already a logistical nightmare to get from Interlagos to Nürburgring to Autopolis in 3 days. You know, not being, lean on the fourth wall a bit here, but that does seem just like a logistical pain in the fucking ass. Obviously, even though these are qualification races, you still get paid for finishing them. You're gonna get a heck of a lot more money if you make the championship and whatnot, but I guess at the very least, Dedrick's airfare costs are being covered here. And Lombardi is making swift progress. P12, not even through the first lap yet. Getting kind of squeezed out by Samuel Jansen, a driver who we haven't really seen a whole lot of lately. He was sort of in the same boat as Bagstrom. The championship weeks bring a lot of people out of the woodworks. You know, he also has damage, as does like a big chunk of the field. Holy crap. Seven cars with damage. Dedrick is not one of them. Let's see here. Apparently there's a bit of a scuffle that Lombardi had. I know he's kind of a bit deplorable right now because he had a bit of an overreaction to this character, his own girlfriend, after Fuji. But I've heard through the grapevine that that's not the only person that got involved with her, or with him, I mean. Or, not in a romantic sense. I mean, like, an argument happened, and let's just say they weren't the ones who ended it. Right, I don't actually know who it was that got involved. My best guess, probably somebody like an admin. Although I feel like they'd have told me if they got involved and... Oh. Jesus! Okay. Might have a guess. Oh boy, please don't be this kind of bullshit. I'm already dealing with Pedanzis and the Jake Downey hitting me every week. Yeah, that didn't look very good. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't teach her defensive driving, that's for sure. So, this is all either just her instinct. Now, Lombardi said about enough. Why would she care? Huh. I mean, you know she's a bit of a kindred spirit and all that, but why would this be her problem? Also, apparently Thrasher was waiting for Autopolis. I don't know why. I figured he would just take the Laguna Seca and run, but he's going to qualify at Autopolis, and he is running in the lead at the moment, so... A pretty comfortable one, too. About 2 seconds in hand over Vegas, and then another... about... a second and a half back to Fernando Pedanzi. And Logan's running P4 over Gemini, and then Lombardi. Not for nothing, Schwartz is almost in the top 10. It'd be a real shame if he doesn't make it, because he's raced well enough to make it multiple times, but the starting grid just keeps saying no. Lombardi gets his elbows out and gets ahead of Gemini. As we're heading towards the end of lap 3 here. Thrasher seems to have only extended that lead further. Now I'd say it's closer to 4 seconds. And Lombardi's not really progressing through the field as fast as he was at the race start. He has to pass Logan to make it into the top 4, which would qualify him in. Logan, I expect to put a bit of defense up, because I know he's got a bit of a chaotic driving style. Yep, there's some blocking. Lombardi to the inside. Logan is continuing to fight this door to door. And Lombardi might have cleared him. Nope, he shoots on the outside of the hairpin. Is he gonna pull that off? And a Firebird? Holy shit. A fucking Firebird just took a car with 4-wheel drive on the outside of a hairpin. What kind of universe is this? Holy shit. Lombardi's coming right back at him into the next hairpin, and Logan does the same thing. This Trailer Park Boy goes around the outside, You don't quite see the Noir maneuver heading towards the next corner. But Logan brakes aggressively and parks the bus on the apex, so Lombardi cannot get through. Lombardi sends it, makes a big contact with the Firebird. The Firebird withstands the contact with the added body weight. Oh dear shit. Oh my god, that's a bit of almost a gory discretion shot there. What actually happens here? Oh, that's not a whole lot of contact, but it sort of forced Lombardi off his line. And his Lancer didn't have any more grip after that. Finds some grass, finds a Pontiac, finds a wall at about 55 miles an hour. And he's not out of the race because his hazards didn't come on. But he's too busy angrily honking to drive off. And so in that bombshell, Thrasher will grab a dominant victory over Violetta Vegas, Fernando Fidanzi, and Logan Cool's defensive driving masterclass will put him in P4. Logan, as far as I'm aware, or as far as I'm concerned, he didn't really do much of anything wrong. He slid a little wide in that corner, and that is also apparently Lombardi never crossed. So I guess he did DNF. Anyway, I don't really think Logan did much wrong there. I mean, he had the block heading towards turn 2, but that's about it. He never made any contact that he initiated. He slid wide at the corner and forced Lombardi off his line. Lombardi overreacted, he drove through grass, he hit Logan, and then spun off the front of Logan and DNF'd. Logan was just a very aggressive, or passively aggressive bystander, and I don't really think he did anything wrong there. I'm sure Lombardi will disagree. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Logan himself disagrees, but he's defending 4th place. He's defending his qualification into the championship. I feel like at that point, you gotta get a little bit more elbows out to try and qualify. And that is exactly what Logan Cool did. And we are green for the final qualification round of the episode. As previously mentioned, we head to Tokyo Expressway for this one. And a late evening race. Akira Taniguchi is the driver of Focus here, as everyone just barrels down to turn 1. Quite literally barrels, in the case of, I think that was Nakazato up there, who just gave himself a fuckload of damage, and probably gave somebody else some too. He was 3 wide of the braking zone, just about. Oh, the car just got away on him under braking. And he gives Trevor Graham some big boy damage too. Scott Webber, I think, also got caught up in that. Also, not much to anybody's surprise, I don't think. Dedrick did not elect to show up for this one after failing 3 times. He only got 11th yesterday at Autopolis, and I think that was kind of a sign that if he had a chance, it's gone now. Also, Taniguchi himself has rear end damage from the kerfuffle at turn 1. Not really sure what exactly caused it, but I guess I could probably go back and look. Oh, he gets smacked by Garrus. Whoops. In fact, present day, it doesn't seem to be affecting his pace too much, as he's now looking at P10 over Taro Kitano. And he will get it. What is this RX-7? Well, he's got a bunch of suspension damage now, so I suppose now it makes sense that his car is all over the road. Akira scorches ahead of his buddy. I think they're friends, right? If not, at least mutual friends, because Nakazato is very close with Michiko. What in the name of shit? Nakazato, get your... Dominic, get your shit together. If you just overcook it on corner exit, he's done that a few times. He gets right into the back of Gemini, no damage. Yeah, he just gets eager on the gas and just yeets himself in the middle of the hairpin. A bit of a rookie move from a guy like this. He had all the time in the world to, like, I don't know, hit the brake, straighten his car out. He just didn't do that. He just started to lose control. It's like, guess I'll die, and spun right across Hayashibara. Trevor already has damage, so it's not like he got away with anything here. And Akira has to carefully navigate the chaos. Okay, so first we have Nakazato, who once again, his car just doesn't under brakes, and he smacks into the inside wall with a big, hefty force. It's probably very awkward to negotiate for the Super Driver. I'm wondering how this car's still running. Like, this thing has hit the wall 3 times in 1 lap with pretty decent speed. So I'm not exactly sure how that car's surviving. At the moment, things looking pretty fucking solid for the NFR guys. Well, gals, and the guy in the fucking team. Isabel's the leader, and Noir is currently 4th. I think Akira is going to probably change that as he crushes that 197 mark he so desperately sought after not too long ago. Hence the number on his car, 197. And he's got the another Supra in his sights, along with an Impreza, and then a Mustang. Yeah, this is by no means Aspinall's home track, but she's still making it work pretty well. Acura, I think, is now aware of that rear end damage, as I noticed he took the exit of that little S section there a little more passively than others would have done. I think he was scared to apply too much steering. He's going to try and take his fellow Super Driver on the outside, and he is just embarrassed Gemini down the inside of the Impreza of my dad, who gives him no quarter on the inside. Or outside, is actually, that was a pure turning in on him, but no real harm done anyway. Outdrags the Subaru with finality this time, and now his only obstacle remaining is Isabel Aspinall. Very aggressive under brakes to get up to the Mustang's back end. That just about runs Akira right over with his superior four-wheel drive acceleration, but has to lose all that momentum to avoid smacking into him. This is my dad trying to make up for losing the second where he failed to qualify, following getting smacked into. Or no, he smacked into. It wasn't even Laguna. I'm done. It's not Laguna Seca. It's Interlagos, and he did it to himself. All the top speed in the world will put Taniguchi into the lead of the race. And Aspinall brakes very conservatively for turn 1. My dad certainly does not brake conservatively for turn 1 because he's got Noir on his tail. Noir, following her hysterics at Autopolis, almost said at a... What was I about to say? I think I was about to say Interlagos again, but that's wrong. Following whatever the hell she did, wherever the hell she did it, trying to actually make it into this race after failing to qualify at Autopolis. Erica Dome had that spin, but I guess he got hit in the side, and that's not a damage, like a section of the car you can damage. So despite that big spin and just general idiot moment, he's still running P6. Gemini is trying to grab P2 at his favorite track. What in the hell? Alright. I think Isabel just got a little distracted by what the hell Gemini just pulled off, and she's just given them both damage. I mean, I think I'd be distracted by this too. I don't know how he even gets this stopped, but he tried to park the bus on the apex, and Isabella was just not ready for him to even get it stopped in time, I don't think. I was certainly not, from the commentary perspective. And so that's probably taken them both out of... Well, honestly, it's hard to say, because... I don't know. They're both gonna pit, because they both gave themselves a bunch of aero damage. This does, nope, other way, promote Noir into third. Because we're now on the final lap. The GTO is built for top speed and not much else. So, well, okay, that's a lie. But it's definitely built for top speed, so it's suited well here. Isabella's Mustang is more of a balanced car than that. So all that top speed isn't enough to really help her stick with my dad, who's got so much more cornering, courtesy of the Isle of Man and Proza's, like, aero parts. I still don't know how they got a hold of this car. He's really pushing it too. He has the DRS on every time he's not turning. Certainly not F1 rules going on right now. I mean literally any time he's not turning, he is on that DRS. He is giving it all that the Subaru has to stay in second place. Probably almost a little more, as I just about watched him smack into a wall. Admittedly, at this point, that might not have been much of a difference, because he could have easily just limped around a handful more turns. Probably still ended up third, at least. Okay, suddenly Dom has entered the picture. This is going to be an actual battle for P4 here. Dominic has caught the pink mobiles up here, and if he can use that Lamborghini's horsepower correctly, he could end up stealing fourth here without any luck. Can't quite outbrake Gemini though, so that's going to make things a bit tougher for him. In the meantime, Akira Taniguchi will cross the start-finish. He will qualify in at his home track. My dad will take P2. And Noir, just by attrition and not getting involved in incidents, takes P3. Isabel is going to have just enough horsepower, I think, to edge out Dom DePrisco and make it a 3-car qualification for NFR, because I made it in Interlagos second. So, best case scenario for NFR, although I'm pretty sure Gemini's probably not so chill right now. But he also had his chance last time out at Autopolis, and he didn't make it there either, so... Yeah, Dom comes up just short. Mind you, I believe he started in the back of the race, like 16th or something like that. And he almost qualified. That just gives you some indication of just how fast he was going. But he's actually going to miss. He's going to go from having the most dominating championship in the Challenge Series history last time out at the Dream Car Championship, literally clinching the championship before he even gets to the final race. And now he's not even going to make it at all. And Eric's not going to make it either, because he wasn't able to make another attempt at it after what happened at the Nürburgring. Because that GTO is not cheap to fix, especially for a team like Scuderia Fidanzi, where their pocketbooks are kind of in the dumps. So, that's like two of the biggest Challenge Series names, Eric Wojciechowski and Dominic DePrisco, that are just not going to be in the 680 Cup. And man, we need to think of a better name for this, on God. But that is going to do it for episode 71. A quick look at my tablet of the 20 drivers who will be the field for this championship. We have in starting grid order Barbara Page, Saki Sabaki, Stephanie Kaiser, Thrasher, Akira Taniguchi, Tyler McIntosh, myself, Mitsuru Kawashiro, Violetta Vegas, my dad, Axel Valentine, Aya Tsubaki, Kazuya Takahata, Fernando Fadanzi, there's a typo, that says Fadazzi, Victoria Noir, Kevin Bagstrom, my mom, Francesca Fadanzi, Logan Cool, and Isabel Aspinall. It's also a typo, there's no A in that. Not Isabella, that's somebody else. Might as well fix Fadanzi. But yeah, that is episode 71. And yeah, next time we have the 680 Cup, because forget naming things, I guess.